I'm back to share my second design team project for the month of April for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And I will put links to her store, her Facebook group, and links to all the designers that are currently designing projects with her beautiful laces and trims and bling, and some of her paper stuff that she carries for journaling. And you just have to go over to the shop and have a look. What I've created for this project is a fabric folder, and I took and the base of the folder is a vintage embroidered dresser scarf, and that's what you can see peeking through here and down in through here. And what I did was I folded it and created it into a folder, and then I embellished it with laces and trims and hand stitching and also some of my tatting. The inside, there's fabric on the inside as well, but between the two pieces of fabric is a piece of this bubble wrapping from an Amazon envelope. And this side, of course, is the bubbly side, and this side, sometimes this blue printing will show through on your fabric, and I just put an extra piece of white fabric over the top of that. A heavy cotton works fine, and it just makes it so that you can't see that printing through your fabric. And it just has a really nice feel to it. It makes the nicest soft cover, or in this case, this folder. And I really like using it, and I like recycling it. Front cover, on top of all the added flowers and that I've done, is this beautiful trim across the top that's from AngeldreamCraftsKim's shop. And it's a really pretty, has a nice scalloped edge on it, a pretty little satiny stitch in it. And then at the bottom here, I have put this trim, which is from her shop. And if you want details on all the trims, you can just head back to my design team package for April, and I go through all details of all these trims that I received that I was using this month. And then this one at the bottom is a beautiful sort of dangle scalloped lace. And I used pieces of that in my art dress that I made earlier this month. And then this month I used the whole piece to put along the bottom of the folder cover here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful trim. And then what I did was I just made a lot of tatted pieces. This is a square tatted piece that I made. And then I added a little tatted butterfly on top of that with this little flower in the white here is actually part of a trim from Angel Dream Crafts. This is one of her bling pieces, this little heart that I dangled off of here. And then all these little flowers are created by tatting. Some of them are tatted around a metal circle with, first I did a blanket stitch around that circle and then added the tatting around the edge of that, and others are just little tatted flowers. And then I've added little acrylic pieces here and there. And then these three white flowers here were part of a white lace trim that Kim had in her shop last year. And so I did some hand stitching on them, some French knots and some satin stitch, pistol stitch, and then added a little tatted flower in the center of those. And so I just wanted to take that embroidery that you can see here and all in here that was on the dresser scarf and just sort of cover the folder with more flowers and things that would add to that. Now the closure on this is I used a piece of this trim from Kim's shop, and I attached it here behind this flower on the back, and I'll show you the back in a minute. And then I brought it across, and this trim naturally has holes in it along the length of it. And so it was really easy to use with a button to use as a closure. And so I brought it around to this side, and I did, I created this is a button, but it didn't have a long shank on it. So what I did was I added a piece of wire underneath, and then I wrapped it with some embroidery floss so you can't really see it. to make this sit up high enough to slide this trim in over it, and it would sit nicely. And then on the end of the trim, I just added a couple of tatted flowers. And so this just slides off of here very easily. And if you filled the folder up really full, I left it so that there was one more hole here on the end. And this gives you a lot more room to fill up this folder with things. And you could still close it really easily. And if not, just move it along and close it in the next opening of the trim. So I thought that worked really well, and it looked really pretty, and just another way of using these beautiful trims that Kim has in the shop for another use for them. And I just tatted a little butterfly and hung it off the edge of there, so that when it's open, this little butterfly is just hanging off the edge of that button. Oh, and I used some E6000 and added a flat back, light pink little flat back pearl in the middle of that button. I will show you the inside and then we'll look at the back. So let's just flip her open, and she is a folder. There is a couple of different uses that I could use this folder for. I could put 2 little journals in this big pocket at the bottom. I could sew in 1 journal down the middle and use the pockets for something else. I could just put my handmade cards in one of the folders and a little notebook in the other side. I could fill it full of laces on like little cards like this and tuck these all in the pockets. There's just a lot of uses for these folders. I like making them and having them on hand, because then if I need to send a gift or give a gift to someone, this part is finished and I just need to finish up whatever I decide to put in it. Start at the top. These are 2 of trims from Kim's shop, and again, more details in my design team package for April. But this little trim here, which is very pretty, and then this is I think this is one of the Clooney lace trims, I believe, and that's the second one here. And I only attached it at the top. I like the movement, and that way too, if I do decide to put something longer in here, I could use this as a tuck as well. I could just attach down the sides, and then that would make it so that things could tuck underneath it. Added one of my little tatted butterflies here. This is a fabric. It actually was a tablecloth, and I cut a piece off to use for the inside. And you can still kind of hear and feel that folder that's in there. It's really nice. I hand stitched this fabric on. You can still see some of the stitches just running along the side here. Then I added the big pocket on the bottom, which was a large, beautiful piece of sort of an embroidered cream colored trim that I got from Kim's shop. And then I added 2 rows of this pearly trim on the bottom as well, and that's from her shop. And this sort of created the pocket and created a scallop on the bottom, which you can actually see peeking through here on the front cover as well. And then on top of that big cream pocket that was created, I added in this trim, which is, again, you've seen it last year and this year in my projects from Kim's shop. It's a beautiful dangle lace. I did take the last little point of the dangle off and just left it with these ones, because I just didn't like how it looked underneath this trim here. And that's the fun thing about the laces, is alter them to fit your project, because they can be cut up. They're fun to cut them up, actually. Added a little flat back pearl in the center of each of those flowers. This is from a trim that was in Kim's shop. I don't know if she's ever going to get it back, but it's a super, super cute trim. I just love it. It was these dragonflies on a long, maybe 2-inch, with other little flowers around them. And so I cut out each of the dragonfly separately. I did some slow stitching all on this little dragonfly to add in some color, a couple little beads for the eyes, and I added that there. And then on this side, and those are the same as what's on the front cover. This one I just did some French knots on it and some stitches in the center, and then added a beaded center that I made. And then just a little cluster of flowers here on this side, added in with that, and some flat back pearls. So that's the inside of the folder. Beautiful big pocket, lots of room to put lots of goodies in there. And this beautiful piece of material with this embroidered trim on the bottom makes for an absolutely gorgeous pocket. And that would work even in a regular journal as well as a pocket. And then on the back, you can see over the edge here was the embroidery, and it came right around, sort of created partly on the spine, the original embroidery on that dresser scarf. And then I added in a few more tattered flowers and one of the little wooden butterflies that from Kim's shop. And I just tied a little piece of pink thread in that. And then this is that trim again from the front cover, wraps all the way around and down this one side. And you can see how pretty, and it has a beautiful shiny thread in it. And then of course, this beautiful pink trim running right around the back. And then this one on the bottom again, which is such a pretty trim. And then of course you can see that scallopy trim from the inside peeking out the bottom as well. And then I created a flower here with a doily from Kim's doily pack of doilies from her shop. This is the same trim that is here at the top of the page with that beautiful scallop. And as I've shown before, any lace with a scallop will make a beautiful flower. In this case, I took 5 of the scallops, counted out 5 of them, gathered it in the center here, and then at each of the little, where the scallops meet the next scallop, I just nick it in with just a little cut. And you just want to go, I usually end up cutting twice. The first cut, I just do a really tiny one. I see how it lies, I see how they look, and if it's not enough, then I cut a second time. The first time I cut, they weren't scalloped enough for me. They didn't look pronounced enough like petals on a flower. And so I did a second little nick in that lace, and then to me it scalloped really nicely. So the first is a doily, the second layer is that lace. This is one of my crocheted flowers, and then another one of those cute little butterfly buttons in the center, and again with a little piece of thread tied in it. And then I still had some of this beautiful tassel trim from last month, and I had a little bit of the pink left, and so I rolled it up and made it into a tassel to add coming out of that flower. And I just thought it finished it off really nicely and added a little bit more dangle at the bottom here. Looks really pretty. So flipping back to the front, I'll just do this little thing up. So there is my little fabric folder and my completed design team project for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. Please go over and visit the shop, purchase some goodies for yourself, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she sends me for my May design team projects. Have a good day, everyone. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.